Hello, my friends. Today I'm doing my book and movie wrap up for March. I read a lot in March, I watched a lot in March, so I think I just need to get straight into it. The first movie that I watched was the original The Haunting from 1963. I do a segment on my website where I compare horror originals to remakes, and I wanted to do The Haunting original versus remake, and I definitely prefer the original. So, obviously, next I watched The Haunting from the 90s, and I just think that it sort of made a mockery of the original story by Shirley Jackson. Yes, there are some fun, campy elements to it, but I do believe this story is meant to be taken more seriously, in my opinion. So I wasn't really a fan. I think Catherine Zeta Jones was the best part. I then watched Kill Bill The Whole Bloody Affair. So, Kill Bill is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top three. And Kill Bill The Whole Bloody Affair is a merging of part one and part two. So, it's just one over 4 hour long movie, but they've made some edits, they've added things in, they've cut things out. It's great. This is the only version that I'll be watching from now on. I then watched We Bury the Dead, which is a relatively new zombie film starring Daisy Ridley. It takes place in Tasmania, which is in Australia, where I live. And it follows a woman that is searching for her husband who was deployed somewhere, and then the apocalypse happened, and she has to find him, but also clean up the bodies that are surrounding her. And I was just bored to death. This was a boring film. Nothing happened. It was so slow. It was painful to get through, and there was a lot of vomiting, and I have a phobia for that. So this was not for me. I then saw The Bride at the cinemas, and honestly, I still don't really know how I feel about this movie. It is very mixed. Like, on one hand, I enjoyed their performances. I think Christian Bale and Jessie Buckley were amazing. On the other hand, I don't think that this was a very well thought out movie. It's quite clunky. I don't really like the artistic direction that they took The Bride in. You have to watch it to understand. But overall, yeah, I just, it wasn't what I was expecting. And I'm somebody that really loves the story of Frankenstein. So you have to do it justice. And I just don't think that they did. I then went and saw Cold Storage at the cinemas, and this was just good plain fun. I love this movie. This is another zombie movie. There's a fair few of them out at the moment. It's about two sort of security guards that work at this storage facility. Little do they know, in the basement area, there is a virus that is being contained, and it gets basically leaked out. It gets out and starts infecting everyone around them, and they have to survive. It's just fun. It doesn't go too deep. I then rewatched Misery for the thousandth time. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. I watched it with my husband. He'd never seen it before, and he really enjoyed it, as he should. I don't know what else you want me to say. Kathy Bates is a queen. I then watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die. This is a new sort of post apocalyptic film about a man that travels from the future to say that AI has taken over the world, and he has to find the correct combination of people in a cafe to basically stop the AI. And I think this movie had a really great start, and then it kind of went in a silly direction. And I don't really do silly very well. Like, I like weird, but not too weird. And this went in a really weird direction. I just wasn't a fan of where they took it. And I wish I had stayed consistent with the beginning, because I felt like the beginning was such a strong start. I then saw Ready or Not 2 at the cinemas. I love the first film. It's one of my favorite survival horror movies. And this movie was good, but it was pretty much more of the same thing. And it's fine. Like, they introduced Catherine Newton as Samara Weaving's sister, and I like their dynamic, and I really like the cast of characters like Sarah Michelle Gellar, etc. But I do think that it was pretty much more of the same thing, and I don't even know if we really needed a sequel. I then watched Twisted, and I watched this because it is by the makers of Saw, and Saw is my favorite horror franchise, so I wanted to check it out. And this was a bit of a letdown. It really wasn't what I was expecting. It's about two girls that like to scam people by pretending like a house that is vacant is theirs, and then they try and sell it while the owners are actually away on holidays or things like that. And they basically do that to the wrong guy, which is this surgeon pictured below, and he subjects them to surgeries and torture, but it's really not as bad as it sounds. I feel like they could have pushed this so much further. It's quite tame, and I just feel like, yeah, it had potential to be something quite shocking, but they really held back. Then, as part of our movie club pick, my mum picked The Phoenician Scheme, which is a Wes Anderson film. And I can't even tell you what this movie is about because I still don't know. This movie was very confusing. I found it really hard to watch. A lot of it went over my head. I think Wes Anderson is just not for me. And I did fall asleep during the movie. So, yeah, this one was a bit of a miss for me. I then watched The Strangest Chapter 3, and boy, was this a letdown. I mean, all three chapters have been pretty woeful. But to get to the end of all that and say, this is what you guys came up with as the final result, yeah, shocking, disappointing. Definitely my least favorite Strangers movie by far. I then saw They Will Kill You at the cinemas, and this was my first 5-star movie of the year. I loved this. This, as I mentioned earlier, is very similar to Kill Bill, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. So I really appreciated the homage to Kill Bill. There are a lot of nods to Evil Dead. It is similar to Ready or Not, but they made it their own. I would recommend everybody go out and see this movie. It is just so fun and action packed and gory and adventurous. It is so well paced. It's one of the best well paced movies I've seen in a long time. There's no part of this movie where it dips or you kind of feel like a lag. It's just go, go, go. And before you know it, it's over. It's fantastic. I finally saw The Housemaid. I read the book, finally watched the movie adaptation. I liked it. I thought it was good. Amanda Seyfried's acting is amazing. I just think that the movie gives away too much, whereas the book was better at hiding the twist. I then watched The Mortuary Assistant, which is a game that I absolutely love. So when I saw they were making a movie adaptation of the game, I was so excited. And this was terrible. They do nod to the game a fair bit, but then the other parts of the story are just so badly acted, so cringy. This was awful. And then I watched Vacancy, which is a 2007 horror thriller starring Luke Wilson, underrated actor, by the way, and Kate Beckinsale. They are a couple on the rocks. They get stranded at this motel, and pretty soon they have to survive the night or become part of a snuff film. Highly recommend. It's really, really fun. In terms of TV shows, I finished the latest season of Bridgerton, and I loved it. I also finished UK vs. the World Season 3 and absolutely loved it. Yes, we are so happy that the Thailand representative won. Thank you, Thailand. I watched Inside the Manosphere, which is the latest Louis Theroux documentary about toxic masculinity, and yeah, they're toxic. They're toxic dudes. And then in terms of books, I finished 2 books by the same author. So I finished The Pumpkin Spice Cafe by Laurie Gilmore and The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Laurie Gilmore. And look, these books are fine. They're sort of like the Temu version of like Emily Henry books or Taylor Jenkins Reid. Like they're rom-coms with a bit of spice, but there's always something sort of lacking from these books. Like I never feel like I can give them more than a 3. I never get to the end and go, that was really well written or that was a great story. It's all very surface level. It never gets too deep. And I do feel like this author over explains herself in every single book. Every book, you know exactly how the character is feeling because she will tell you 1,000 times and it starts to get irritating. It's like, we get it. Anyway, that is all I watched and read for the month of March, but it was a lot and I had to speed run through this. I'm really excited for April. I get to see Lee Cronin's The Mummy. I'm hoping to see Undertone. I believe Hokum is coming out at the end of the month. There's a lot coming out in April, and I'm super excited to catch up on some other movies that I missed earlier in the year. So please let me know everything you watched and read in the month of March, and I will talk to you soon.